There's some really fabulous volunteers in this house, and I would like to turn the mic over next to Bill Baker, who not only is an outstanding community volunteer and an NECIC board member volunteering in that capacity, but he saw some of the challenges. Our tree line right here used to look like that tree line over there, only worse. There were much bigger trees. You couldn't see through it. We forgot there was a parking lot right there. After he got done, we're like, hey, maybe let's put a gate there and the church will let us. Anyone here from St. Mark's today? Shout out to the church for opening that parking lot to us. So Bill saw the possibilities. He says, we don't have to live with that, and we'd like to, he will be leading a part of the tour and telling you a little more in depth of what it took to get that down. But Bill Baker, thank you so much for putting in 100 hours of volunteer on this garden alone, including some crisis management today. We won't talk about.
Can everyone hear me okay? I've got a fairly loud voice and I'm very animated. So Gene, we'll save some battery life there. Thanks for that wonderful introduction. Thanks so much to everyone being here and participating in the ribbon cutting today. And I want to start by telling you about my best friend, Larry Waddell, who convinced me at age 13. I met him in 7th grade and we were just kids. And Larry convinced me and Vic and Gary and Tim to hold a muscular dystrophy carnival on our street. We were 13 years old, and now for 41 years, I've been involved in community activities and building the social justice movement so that we're all treated equally. We all have equal opportunity to grow and dream and pursue our goals. Larry and I were very competitive, very much alike. We were very bright. He was born in March, I was born in April. You know, I challenged him, I'm going to get my driver's license before you, and he beat me. He was driving to my house before I was driving to his. He joined the Air Force. I joined the Navy. Larry was very bright. He actually served under the president for Air Force One. He would travel with the president and set up the telecommunications for him, wherever the president would be speaking. Unfortunately, we lost Larry in 2001 to an accidental overdose. So that also drives my passion in the North End. I live on McPherson Street within walking distance of here to make sure that we have healthy options, that we have good things that we can be involved in. So don't forget about Larry. And you're probably wondering why I told you that story. So as Gene said, I came on site here about March, saw some piles of wood and some piles of dirt. There weren't any gardens or any plants yet, but right away I fell in love with the vision of taking vacant properties and creating something that the community could connect to and be a part of. One of our first projects was with the Air National Guard. We came in, we found out that there were lots of rocks in the soil and had all these challenges for creating a few of the beds. And at that time, the area where most of all of you are standing, you couldn't have stood there. Piles of debris and brush and garbage and leftovers from the blighted properties. Yes, the homes were removed, but there were 3 old fences, and some of those fences were grown right into the middle of trees that were 2 feet around. So, as Gene said, and I mentioned to someone earlier, I kind of like to work behind the scenes and do the dirty work, and I wanted to do that cleanup. I have some hand tools and cutting torches and shovels, and to take down the block wall and the trees that were not worth saving. We did save the large trees. We didn't get rid of all of them. But it was a daunting task, and I wasn't sure how I was going to find the time and the energy to do it as a volunteer. So the very first day that I was on site here working on my own, and we had the Air National Guard project, we had a Vista cleanup that I helped with a little bit. Vicki was wonderful in arranging that. But we were trying to prepare for this fence to be installed. And it was so blighted that we actually thought we would just move the fence in 5 feet and leave that blighted area for another time. So what I did is I brought my hand tools and the chainsaw, and I came and I cut down some branches on a box elder, and I was preparing to pick up those branches and throw them in the huge pile that was here, and I saw this tag stuck to the branches. And on this tag was a balloon that was deflated, and it said, "If found, please call or text," with a number that says, "Please include your name on the tag and where it was found." So I texted, I took a picture of it on the branch, and I sent that picture to the number, and the person sent me a message back and said, thank you. I said, this was found at the teaching garden on Blue Street. And I didn't think a thing of it. I took the tag and I tossed it in my car, and I thought Gene might like to have that as a memento. So when I got back to the office and I went to hand it to Gene, I thought I saw my friend's name on the back of the card. And I was awestruck, and I stood there dumbfounded. I said, Gene, could I see that back? And she handed it to me, and it says, in memory of Larry Waddell, Madison Comprehensive High School, class of 78. So I texted the number back, and it was my classmate Stephanie, and she said, yeah, we had our class reunion last fall out near Lucas, and we released a balloon for every one of the 40-some classmates that had passed since our graduation in 1979. The reason I tell everyone that story and why they wanted me to speak is to just show you concrete proof that we're all connected in this adventure together. That coming here, you know, there's a spiritual connection and a physical connection being on site and working on these projects. We don't always get the evidence of that. But the whole time I was here, for that 100 hours of sweaty labor and meeting the neighbors and having them come and assist me, and the staff and other volunteers, we had a chipping day and just amazing transformation. I knew that Larry's spirit was here and that it'll actually always be here throughout this project. And I really just want to say that our connection as a community stems from those kinds of stories and that type of an event. So I'm really happy to see everyone here, and I hope you just keep coming back and involving yourself in the garden. Thank you.
We are all connected, are we not?